Nox is dead. Don't worry, it won't last. Just like Paradox, just like Jin, and just like Buffa, it's going to last a max of 2 to 3 episodes, if that. Okay, so before I get into the main point of this video, I just want to say that for editing's sake and for simplicity, I'm just going to have my model stand here on the side and just have stuff pop up as I talk about it. And before I get into the main topic of the video, I do want to talk about the partnership of today's video, because I need to be very specific. It's not a paid sponsorship, and it's not even a sponsorship. It's a partnership. Very different. So let's talk about Dubby. Dubby is the best jitterless energy, no crashes, and flavor enhancer out there. Just add it to a shaker of water or even a cup, and you're good to go all day. They've got some of the best flavors that you can't get anywhere else. We're talking flavors like Retro Sherbet, Dub Sludge, Dragonade, Mango Passion, and so many others. And my personal favorite, S'mores. Add it to a warm cup of milk in the morning, and it's even better than coffee in both flavor and energy. And you won't need to spend the better half of your lunch on the toilet. And if you're not interested in that and you just want a good, affordable shaker cup for just water or your hikes or just to add to your personal collection, they've got some of the best shakers out there and at the best price. Collabs that you can't get anywhere else. We're talking Chainsaw Man, Freyren, Solo Leveling. And these cups are limited supply and won't be around forever. And they just released their new Collector's Metal Cups. These are unique designs that are very limited issue, and once they're gone, they'll be gone for a while. So what are you waiting for? Go to w.gg and use my code RiderGuy8 at checkout for 10% off anything on the store. Remember, RiderGuy8 at checkout. And now with that out of the way, back to the video. Okay, so obvious spoiler warnings for those who have not seen episodes 23, 24, and some of 25 of Zeztz, but this is mostly going to be me talking about the events that unfold in episode 24, because a lot happened. So, in today's video, and I'm going to try to get this done in one recording, but we'll see, I am going to tell you definitively how Code, the secret organization in Kamen Rider Zeztz, that where all the agents are agents of 7, 4, 5, 6, all of the Code agents, how that organization are the good guys. I am not joking. Okay, so in Zeztz, there's been a very obvious and clear messaging from the story perspective and the writers to label Code as an evil organization that throws away its agents on a whim. And this is a lie, and it's not even close to the truth of Code. But before I get into that, I'm going to talk about the story elements of what has happened in episode 24. So, Nem has woken up from the dream realm, and the lady, who has been Nox's supporter / boss for a good part of probably over 10 episodes now, it is revealed that that is Nem's mother. Yes, and somehow Nem's body in the real world has been at the lady's hideout this entire time, even though early on in Zeztz, Nox went to her unconscious body, even though that wouldn't have been possible because he was also unconscious and trapped in the dream world. But plot holes aside, it's revealed that she was also a member of Code because it's all connected. Now, that's not the weird part. The weird part is why she is now both controlling the nightmares and creating them. Buckle in, because shit's about to get weird. Okay, so along with learning that the lady is Nem's mother and an agent of Code, she was Code number 2, we find out that during one of her missions, don't know the full details, doesn't matter, she was dreaming, and while in the dream, she was attacked by a nightmare. And in this dream, she was dreaming of being pregnant, being a mother, that kind of thing. It was a very happy dream. And then she was attacked by a nightmare. And the nightmare cut her hand and then infected her or went into her body. Not exactly clear, but she immediately wakes up and has given birth to Nem. Yes, Nem is the product of a dream/nightmare becoming reality. Now, there's a lot that goes into that. So she calls Code, obviously, and is like, hey, I just gave birth to a baby from my dream, and I'm pretty sure the nightmare spawned it. So how does Code respond? Pretty reasonably, honestly. They're like, yeah, we're tracking the situation. Thanks for telling us. We're going to send some agents to come get the baby, and we're going to analyze it. Now, that's all they say. They never say they're going to neutralize the baby or anything like that. Like, they give no actual indication they're going to harm this newborn. And number two, which is what I'll be referring to her during this sequence, just goes off the wall and freaks out and decides, oh no, they're going to harm my baby. So the second the agents show up to get her and the baby, because I'm assuming they were also going to take her back to the agency, to get some medical treatment or something, she immediately, no questions asked, they don't even make it over to her across the room, she guns them down. Not a joke, like not some DX blaster. No, like we're talking 1911, guns them down, no hesitation. And everything I've just told you is verbatim what number 2 says. She's explaining all of this to Nem, like why she's doing everything she's doing. So after she guns down the 2 agents, just immediately goes rogue, and she is the cause for Code's initial handling of rogue agents. So then she tells Nem that instead of actually trying to take care of her or whatever, be a mother, which is apparently what was driving her to do all this, she immediately, like same day, abandons her at some random house for 20 years and only tried to reach out or, see her daughter after she was in an accident and put into a coma. And because after she was in the coma, that's when her body was moved and brought to her secret hideout. And she's also revealed that she has been awake this entire time, and that's how Code couldn't find her. Because she's been awake for 20 years. And I'm sorry, if you could hide from Code for 20 years, you could have taken your daughter yourself. So that's just a poor excuse. But also, this also says a lot about her character. Like, the second someone tells you they have been awake for 20 years, you should not trust anything they say. There are a lot of severe side effects when it comes to lack of sleep. If somebody reveals to you that they've been awake for 20 plus years, maybe more, just immediately find a way out of the same room of that person, because that person has lost their entire mental state. Okay, but anyway, after that, in the episode, then the lady, Code number 2, whatever you want to call her, she takes this new device that I guess she's refurbished from Nox's driver, because it's pretty much the Nox driver, just black and purple. And she goes to Code HQ, and with this new device, she's able to pop in the nightmare capsums and summon them to the real world. And she sends in the nightmares to storm the base and do most of the dirty work for her, but not all of it. But I'll get to that in a minute. So, while they're being attacked, number 4, calls in Zeztz and is like, hey, I've got a new mission for you. And his mission is very simple. It's eradicate the nightmares, aka the ones attacking Code HQ. They even send him the coordinates. Now, Zeztz does what is arguably the dumbest thing he's done. For like the 5th time now, he openly defies his orders and says, no thanks, I've got my own mission. And he hangs up the phone and tells the rest of his crew, I'm going to go find Nem. That's all I care about. Which for him is understandable why he wants to find Nem, but it's dumb because he goes to the Code HQ anyways and defeats all the nightmares one by one. So what was the point of saying, no, I'm not going to do that if you were going to do exactly that? Okay, so alongside number 2, the lady also spawning in nightmares every time Zeztz defeats one, she also, with a very gleeful smile, guns down anyone in her way. Granted, we only see her gun down some of Code's armed security. However, as we see the facility destroyed, we see a lot of innocent scientists, researchers, people that aren't soldiers or other agents, also not in a living condition. So I'm going to believe that she's perfectly happy gunning down everyone. And again, this is all in one episode. And you might be asking, well, why is she doing this? What is her motivation? Because she also makes that very clear. She claims that her motivation for destroying Code is that so all life can truly live. Like, so that the world can live as it was. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. She claims she's doing it to protect all life for some nonsense, as she is actively bringing in nightmares into the world that have one singular purpose: kill everything. That is the only thing the nightmares have ever done. And then she tries to claim this bullshit of, oh, I'm doing it to protect you, Nem. But she's not. She has been using Nem the entire time for her own personal benefit. Like, if she wanted to be a mother, could have easily done that. You had 20 years. No one knew where you were. Most people probably thought you were dead. And she is clearly just using everyone and anyone to get what she wants. That's it. She even reveals in this episode, because she's been secretly the counselor of Zeztz and his sister, and like, she openly says this to Zeztz as well when he catches up to her, and admits to manipulating and brainwashing his sister to control him, because her mind control powers don't work on Zeztz. Why? We don't really know. Probably going to be explained later, if at all. But then she continues to manipulate, and when Zeztz has a moment of weakness because Nem gets in the way of him going to break the lady, his dual nightmare driver, or not driver, the capsum freaks out and he collapses. And then she tries to make it a whole thing of, see, you hesitate and then you break, and that's what Code will do to you. Even though she is the direct cause for that. Everything that has been happening in Zeztz has been her cause. She is the source of everything. Okay, so immediately after that, Code and number 4, they show up and they neutralize, because I gotta be careful for YouTube, the lady. And they do it because they're able to turn invisible with the disappear or clear capsule. I forget its name. And then number 4 transforms with his own Lord Invoker system. And we finally get to see Lord Invoker number 4. And he neutralizes Zeztz. They get into a whole fight. Zeztz is unable to use the catastrum capsule. And number 4 neutralizes him. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is proof that Code is evil and they just got rid of Zeztz. So if you see episode 25, you know why that didn't actually happen. Kind of. It's a weird groundhog thing. But Code and number 4 are absolutely in the right for everything they did. Everything. And I'm going to explain in crucial detail. Okay, the first thing that I'll address is for neutralizing Zeztz. Now, a lot of people have pointed this out as obvious signs of Code being evil. That's not the case at all. Again, 4 is completely justified in neutralizing Zeztz, because every time, no joke, every time Zeztz has disobeyed orders, something bad has happened. First time he disobeyed orders, Nox got his driver back, which led to him interfering with his missions and the nightmares getting closer to being released, and eventually led to the nightmares directly getting released into the real world. Because remember, that Demon Lord nightmare was able to wipe out entire city blocks with the red lightning. And a lot of people were like, oh, but Code got 5 and 6 killed, and because it sent them to go take care of Nox and the Demon Lord. No. They died because Zeztz refused to go help them. He was given orders to go back them up, and instead he said no and had a whole crisis of morality, even to the point where 5 and 6 went to go retrieve him, and he was just like, no, I don't believe what we're doing is right. And their mission was to go take out Nox and the Demon Lord. And just for the record, I'm not blaming Zeztz for the Demon Lord nightmare being released. He did try to stop it. He did try his best. Sometimes your best just isn't enough. That's just how it is. But he showed up too late. Both of them were gone. And then he decided to act and took out the nightmare and Nox. And he disobeyed orders again. All he had to do, again, Zeztz was given orders. Go eliminate the nightmares. Here's the location. He said no and went to the location anyway and got rid of the nightmares anyway. So he could have, even if he didn't want to follow the orders and just wanted to go find Nem. Sure, he didn't know Nem was at Code HQ, but he went there anyway, took out the nightmares, found Nem. Everything could have been just fine. He even rushed the lady to take her out. So he could have just followed orders and it would have been fine. 4 is just acting because Zeztz officially made himself a rogue element and a traitor. Let's talk about the traitors real quick. Okay, so let's talk about the 2 rogue agents who have been the cause of all the trouble. The lady and Nox. The lady, as we now know, was the first agent to go rogue. And I believe, it's not confirmed, but I believe she is the reason Nox went rogue to begin with. I think she had something to do with his driver originally getting busted, which caused him to be in a situation where he was told, no backup, you're on your own. And probably what caused him to get trapped in the dream world too, because he was also trapped in a coma. So anyways, what happened when the lady went rogue, when she stopped being code number 2? Well, her first thing she did was she got rid of 2 agents, neutralized them, and then made the nightmares a lot worse, causing them to have to develop stuff like the Zeztz driver to combat it and use harsher methods. And it's no surprise that a leader of an organization like number 4, like Zero, they would be more cold to the agents, especially if they think that there's a chance they could die. Because when you get emotionally attached to people, you can't do your job effectively, and it causes a whole lot of problems later down the road. Which is why he was so cold when 5 and 6 were eliminated. But the way he attacks Zeztz, because Zeztz is 100% to blame for their ending. So it is completely understandable why he was so aggressive with Zeztz. Because he's the reason. Also, Nox went rogue. They had to hide his driver from him for good reason. What happened when he got it back? He started interfering way more actively, was an actual threat to Zeztz, and the nightmares got a lot worse. And again, these nightmares are not something that, it's not like, oh, they're just misunderstood animals. No, they are actively malicious and have a single-minded purpose to cause as much destruction as possible. And some people might justify the lady like, oh, she was protecting her daughter. We've already established she has not been protecting her daughter. She has been using her for her own gain. And also, why would you want to protect the thing born of a nightmare? Like, there was never... Also, she has no evidence
that Code was ever actually going to neutralize Nem. Even when they confront Zeztz in episode 24 and they take Nem away, they have no intention, at least they never even acknowledge it, that they intend to eliminate her. They clearly plan to study her and figure out, like, how she exists, but that is entirely different. Like, there was never a scene of, oh, what are you going to do to my child? Oh, we're going to get rid of it because it's dangerous. We don't know what it could do. There's never any of that. She just immediately assumes that's what's going to happen with no evidence and goes rogue. Oh, and then abandons the child she went rogue for and puts herself into an insane state of insomnia and lack of sleep for 20 years. And yeah, so Code is absolutely justified in taking the actions they have done, because every time agents have gone rogue, innocent people have died. Now, I've also seen people make the case of, oh, but Code's mission is to protect world peace, not human lives. And this also stems from an old screenshot from the Showa era, where Kamen Rider Ichigo says that protecting human life is more important than peace and justice. I'm going to get into that real quick. The context of that, no one ever actually understands it. So, in the context of that screenshot, Ichigo is talking to someone who thought that Shocker was the good guys. Shocker, the people that take civilians, turn them into mutated cyborgs, and make them fight to the death for their own personal vendettas and goals. Shocker uses a obscure sense of justice and their version of peace to do what they think is right. And by right, I mean they want to conquer the world. That has always been Shocker's thing. And that is what Ichigo means. Protecting the actual innocent lives is more important than Shocker's twisted sense of justice. Or even because justice and peace are ideas and ideologies that people twist all the time to benefit themselves and their own causes. Because they'll say, oh, I fight for justice and peace, but they'll throw away human life when it benefits them. That's the context of that old screenshot, and people need to stop using that as an example because they don't understand the full context. Now, how does Code go about obtaining world peace? Do they manipulate the masses? No. Do they use people and throw them away as useful pawns? No, they don't do that either. Code has identified that there is supernatural threats to human life, aka the nightmares. So they have specially trained agents who can go into the dream world and eliminate the nightmares before they are brought into reality and wreak havoc everywhere. Because again, these nightmares are the worst parts of a human subconscious. So humans naturally repress stuff in their subconscious that is their both worst and best aspects. Now, a good person will suppress their worst aspects. A bad person, someone who enjoys doing bad things or harming others, will repress their good sides. These nightmares are the physical manifestations of a person's worst thoughts, like the things they push away because they don't want to act on them, or they don't even think about it, or at least not knowingly. Everything Code has done, everything, has been to protect human life. Because let's look at the nightmares again that they've stopped. Stop the bomber. Eliminate the biological weapon. Destroy the literal moon-sized living meteor. These are all things that came directly from Code. Code was able to identify the nightmares before they even took physical form so the agents could neutralize them. And you cannot tell me that Code, and especially number 4, don't care about their agents. Because when 6 regains her memory, 4 offers her the Invoker Driver before restoring her memory with the eraser caps him. And when he does that, he specifically says, "Are you sure you want to come back? We erased your memories to protect you." He cares about the agents. Why doesn't he care about Zeztz? Because since he got onto the scene with Zeztz, Zeztz has defied orders, which led to the destruction of Zero, at least his robot, the theft of the memory core, and then it eventually led to the deaths of 2 agents. So 4 is absolutely in the right for everything he did and how cold he was to Zeztz. You could even say he wasn't doing a very good job of being emotionally detached. Okay, so I'm going to try to wrap this up real quick by explaining why the director has failed in his messaging. Okay, so it's very clear the director and the writers want Code to be viewed as an evil organization. And I believe from episode 26 going forward that we're going to see more of that side of things. And it's going to be lazy and done horribly because they have already failed with their authorial intent. So real quick, without going into too much detail, authorial intent is when an author, a director, or someone writes something to be viewed in a very specific way, but then what they end up creating ends up being the complete opposite or an entirely different message. Like, it's very clear they want Code to be viewed as evil, manipulative, and like how people view real-world secret organizations as corrupt. But everything they have done in Code up to episode 25 has proven the exact opposite. That there is no one fighting harder to protect human life and make sure people don't die needlessly than Code. Again, they have an entire group of agents. We don't even know how high the numbers go. It could be endless, of people who are specifically trained to fight and eliminate nightmares, to save lives. But yes, that has been my video and explanation as to why Code, objectively and factually, are the good guys of Kamen Rider Zeztz. And yeah, everything that Code has done, 100% justified. And nothing that Nox or the lady have done is justified at all. Another thing, if you have a child born of a nightmare, why would that not freak you out? Just penny for your thoughts. Like, why is that suddenly the thing? And I get it, her dream was to be a loving mother, and she did everything in her power to not be that. But yeah, so spoiler for episode 25, it's a Groundhog Day. Things have literally reset to episode 1, and so this feels like a horribly lazy story tactic for the director to just reset, bring back people who are dead, and I predict this is where Zeztz is going to go downhill. I think the story is going to get worse, the characters are going to get ruined, and it's just going to be bad going forward. But anyways, I have talked long enough, and this video is already going to be a nightmare to edit as it is. Let me know what your thoughts on this whole thing are in the comments down below. And that's all I've got for now. I'll see you guys next time. And remember, it's always Henshin time.